right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today we're going to talk about Bitfarms, stock ticker BITF. They are a Bitcoin mining company. They put out their April operational reports. They also put out several other press releases, so I want to go through all the press releases they put out last week. Also, definitely do a deep dive into the April operational report, and then we'll take a look at how they've been doing year to date. Right now, they closed the day yesterday on Monday at $1.11. They were down 4%. That was a little better than most of the other Bitcoin mining companies, but yesterday was a down day. Bitcoin was down quite a bit. So later we will look at the charts and compare their stock price and where it's gone. But I also like to look at the market cap and where it's gone to keep things in perspective from a big picture. So they're currently a $264 million market cap company. If we look at their market cap over the last few years, you'll see here in November of 2021, they peaked at $1.35 billion. So from November 2021 until now, they have lost over $1.1 billion. So that is the vast majority of their market cap. Bitcoin in November of 2021 was at its all-time high. So it does make sense that those two correspond. The question is, has the $1 billion of lost market cap make sense versus what they've done over the course of that time? And that's what I hope to dig into in this video. We'll get right to the most recent press release. This was put out yesterday morning. Bitfarms mines 379 Bitcoin in April. Operating capacity reaches 196 megawatts and hash rate reaches 5.0 megawatts. So Bitfarms Limited, a global vertically integrated Bitcoin mining company, provided a Bitcoin production and mining operations update for April 2023. In addition, earlier today, Bitfarms announced that it had regained compliance with the minimum bid price requirement for $1 per share under the NASDAQ listing rule. So this was crucial. There was a big battle, it seemed, between the bulls and the bears here on Bitfarms stock price at $1. I don't think this belongs anywhere near $1. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice, but I do think it hung out close to this $1 because they were out of compliance. And I do think the bears were trying to push this as far as they could and see if they could get them to maybe do a reverse stock split. But it doesn't look like that's happening to me. Now, I will tell you, the board is still voting on having the authority to do a reverse stock split, but it's no longer a necessity because they are back in compliance. So I do think that's very important, and I do think it's going to be a catalyst. If Bitcoin can recover and get a little healthy, I think this will be a catalyst for Bitfarms. Okay, as we announced last week, boosted by production increases from the new installation of Rio Cuarto, Argentina, our operational hash rate has reached 5.0 exahash on April 27th, 2023. So that's their all-time high. As many of you know, they had plans to get bigger than this in 2022, but like most of the Bitcoin miners, their plans changed fairly dramatically. Now, the one thing that I will say about Bitfarms is, although they did not get all of the growth that they hoped to get in 2022, operationally, they performed excellent. They were a top 5 Bitcoin miner all year last year, every single month of all 12 months. So they had very consistent and steady top 5 performance, and they have continued to do so in the year 2023. So we will take a look at that in a few minutes as well. Okay, this from the CEO of Bitfarms. Importantly, our private power producer in Argentina is now fully permitted to provide up to 100 megawatts, and we are able to begin purchasing power under this agreement at prices expected to be below 3 cents per kilowatt hour. With this permitting milestone achieved, we are positioned to expand in Rio Cuarto with sourced power costs that should reduce our average cost of power and realize our growth target of 6.0 exahash in 2023. So two big things in that one sentence. Number one, this is their power purchase agreement at this point in Argentina is going to reduce their overall cost of power. So that is going to help the company remain efficient and profitable and cash flow positive. Also, they're letting us know something here that they have not said before. Their target is 6.0 exahash for the end of the year. So they just reached 5.0 exahash at the end of April. All they're looking to do for the rest of the year is add 1.0 exahash. This is very consistent with the shift that they made, and I think they had to make about a year ago to clean up their balance sheet, dramatically improve their financial position, and continue to focus on efficiency of Bitcoin mining versus massive expansion of Bitcoin mining. Now, all the while, they have been expanding. So this company has been growing and growing. They're now at 5 exahash. They're looking to get to 6 exahash. I suspect that they're going to get further than that by the end of the year, but I understand that right now they're looking to send a message. They want to remain cash flow positive and they want to remain profitable. So that's how I read into this. Additionally, in April, we entered into agreements to acquire 22 megawatts of hydropower capacity in Quebec. Subject to closing, this is expected to drive further growth in our renewable energy portfolio. So the vast majority of their portfolio is renewable. Most of it's hydro. The piece of the puzzle that is natural gas is in Argentina. They do have a massive potential growth down there, but they're taking this very, very slowly, as you've seen. Okay, Ben Gagnon, Chief Mining Officer of Bitfarms, said, in April, Bitcoin production declined 6% year over year, as a 52% increase in our hash rate. So again, they did grow. If you think this company isn't growing, they are growing. They did grow their hash rate 52% year over year from last April of 2022 to April of 2023. However, that increase in hash rate was offset by a 61% increase in the network difficulty level, and they had a 9-day shutdown in Rio Cuarto as they transitioned to a new substation. So there were two variables, and you were going to see another one. They also did a little bit of curtailment in April. That's probably the last month of the year that they're going to have to participate in curtailment due to the weather in Canada. So for those reasons, the month of April did not quite keep up with the month of March. They mined 424 Bitcoin in March. They mined 379 Bitcoin in April. So that is a step backwards, but I think they do a good job explaining here of exactly what the reasons for that were. I do expect that this will still land them in the top 5 Bitcoin miners for the month of April. I think this will put them at number 5. If we look at Bitcoin mining production by Bitcoin miner last month, you'll see that Bitfarms was number 4 with 424 Bitcoin mined. So they've mined a little bit less this month, 379. And you can see they were kind of in a fight with Cypher here for 4th and 5th place. They've been trading back and forth. Well, it looks like they're going to flip-flop again this month because Cypher did report they did mine a little bit more than Bitfarms. So I will do a separate Cypher video and go through their operation report in detail as well. But just so that you know, it looks like these two will switch and Cypher will be number 4 and Bitfarms will be number 5. But again, still, they're a year and a half into being a top 5 Bitcoin mining company. All of these charts are Core Scientific notwithstanding because Core Scientific is still in Chapter 11. So we don't know what this company is going to look like when it reemerges. Okay, if we look on a month-by-month basis, this is their Bitcoin mining for each month since January of 2022. So this is all of 2022 and all of 2023. So you're going to see they did mine more like we looked at in March than they did in April. However, they're fairly consistent here. April was pretty consistent with February. I do expect them to hang out around this 400 Bitcoin mined per month. So as they increase their exahash and as the Bitcoin difficulty level increases, it's my personal target that Bitfarms should be trying to sustain this 400 Bitcoin per month. And I think that they can do that, but we will see. That's going to depend an awful lot on Bitcoin staying healthy, how much the Bitcoin network increases, and does Bitfarms stay on plan, getting some new operations up and running, getting to that 6 exahash, or potentially maybe a little bit beyond that 6 exahash. Okay, for April 2023, we were cash flow positive from operations after scheduled interest and principal payments. So this is important. So they not only paid for the Bitcoin they mined, they paid for the operations. In addition to that, they paid the principal and interest on their debt, and they were still cash flow positive. This is what I'm saying. This company has gotten a lot healthier from a balance sheet standpoint and their income statement. They're generating cash flow, and we're looking for them to start generating profitability. That is something that the vast majority of the Bitcoin miners did not do in 2022. In fact, 2022 was a bit of a catastrophe for most of these companies on an income statement standpoint. Okay, and then they say, as in March, we sold less Bitcoin than we produced, which resulted in a net addition of 30 Bitcoin to Treasury in April, bringing the total at month's end to 465 Bitcoin. So this is a much smaller stack than they had a year ago, but they also had $165 million of debt that was rolling them over in the middle of the crypto winter. That is now down to $19 million of debt, and they're looking to get that down to 0 prior to the halving, and it looks like they are on track to do that. So that is a massive, massive shift in the health of their balance sheet, and you can see they are now starting to hodl Bitcoin again. So yes, it's a small amount, but 30 Bitcoin's the better part of $1 million while they continue to get more and more financially stable. Okay, if we look at their own chart here, total Bitcoin mined 379 for the month of April. That was compared to 405 for the previous April. We talked about that, and 424 for last month. Month ending operational exahash 5.0, so that's up from 4.8 last month. So that is important. They do continue to grow. They've got some plans to grow even further. Earlier in the press release, it says we also purchased an additional 650 petahash or 0.65 exahash of new Bitmain and MicroBT miners to fill out another 22 megawatts in the first warehouse, which is expected to increase our total hash rate a further 13%. So average Bitcoin mined per exahash, you're going to see this really dropped. This was 91 in March. It was 81 in April. So we're going to have to compare. We're going to have to wait and see how the rest of these Bitcoin miners come out. I suspect this 81 is going to be around average. This may be even better than average, even though it's so much worse than last month. The difficulty level was up again. From the glimpse that I could see of most of the other Bitcoin miners, it looks like they're going to come in lower than March as well. So those Bitcoin miners that are able to beat their March production, I think, are going to be the real winners here in April. So we'll have to see how this ranks. Bitcoin per exahash, Bitfarms has been tied for number one in efficiency for the last several months. So we'll see if that maintains. You can see it did take a dip. So they increased their operating capacity from 188 megawatts to 196 megawatts. Of that, 178 megawatts is hydropower, so you can see still vastly a hydropower company. Watts per terahash efficiency remains the same at 39. This is a little bit high. They're going to want to try to get this down over the next year, so it's probably average among the active publicly traded Bitcoin miners, but this is higher than they want it to be. It certainly is lower than it was a year ago, which it was at 42 a year ago, so moving in the right direction. They need to continue to increase this. Okay, I'm just going to round up by looking at Bitfarms on the 1 day time frame. So you'll see the trading has opened today. They're at $1.09. They're down 2 cents, so still over $1. And again, they already have their 10 days in, that putting them back in compliance. So that conversation is no longer on the table. What I want to compare is Bitfarms hit a high in February, and this was February 2nd. This is back when Bitcoin ran up to $25,000. So Bitcoin is now between $28,000 and $29,000, and it's been as high as $31,000. So the fact that Bitfarms is still under where it was just a couple of months ago does not make sense to me. My very first super short-term price target, if Bitcoin can get healthy, $1.23 would be about a 14% increase, but that's not really the target that I'm looking at. By the end of the year, I'm looking for Bitfarms to get back to this spot right here. This was in August of 2022. That is the last time Bitcoin was at $25,000. This is a 115% potential increase that I think that is a super realistic price target for the end of the year, if not sooner. Obviously, that's going to depend on the continued successful operational reports from Bitfarms on a monthly basis. In addition to that, Bitcoin is going to have to stay reasonably healthy and, get past this $30,000 mark. So that's my upward target right now. Beyond that, a little longer range, if you just go back to May of 2022, that would be about a 198% increase from where they are right now. So that would be about a triple. So before the halving, this could be a realistic price target. We'll have to wait and see what happens. As always, to look on the downside, just 4 months ago, Bitfarms was at about 38 cents per share, so that would represent a 65% pullback. So again, this is another high-risk, high-reward stock, as most of these Bitcoin miners are. So do your own due diligence, trade carefully. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.